2013 second chance. ABCD is a direct square with center I. So we draw it. We draw a square ABCD of center I, any given length. E is the midpoint of ID. F is the midpoint of, denote by EF. F is the midpoint of AD. J is the midpoint of AI. Let S be a direct plane similitude. S be a direct plane similitude with ratio K and angle alpha that maps A onto J, A onto J, and B onto I. Part 1, it is simple. Calculate K and determine the measure of alpha. Calculate K and determine the measure of alpha. So after drawing the figure, to calculate the ratio, we start with the images Ji equals KAB, then K equals Ji over AB. Ji over AB. Now, we don't have length. We don't have neither the length of AB, neither the length of Ji. So if I call AB is equal to A, it is a square of side A, so AB is A. To calculate IJ, first we have to calculate the length of AC. To calculate the length of IJ, we calculate the length of AC. Pythagoras in triangle ABC, Pythagoras in triangle ABC, AC squared equal AB squared plus BC squared. So AC squared equal A squared plus A squared. AC equal radical 2A squared equal A radical 2. Now IJ equal 1/4 of AC. In AI, he half AC, IJ is half AI, so IJ equal 1/4 of AC. So it is A radical 2 over 4. Then K equals Ji over AB, A radical 2 over 4 over A. A and A is simplified. Then K equals radical 2 over 4. K equals radical 2 over 4. Once again, we start with the images Ji equal KAB. If you are not given the length, you take the length any measure A. So we calculate AB is A. To calculate IJ, we have to calculate AC. Pythagoras, IJ equal 1/4 of AC. Now we are going to calculate the angle. To calculate the angle, we start with the point. The angle here ABJI. ABJI. Instead of JI, I can put AC or AJ. So alpha equal ABJI equals ABAJ. So we take a vector that has the same direction and sense as JI. ABAJ. ABAJ, it is in the positive sense. And you know that the diagonal of the square bisect the angle, so it is equal pi over 4. Angle is pi over 4. Now, part 2. Prove that E is the image of C under S. Part 2. Prove that E is the image of C under S. E is the image of C under S. Okay, we take B. P نقول B onto I or A onto J. We are going to use one of these points. We take it with C. So I have from the given B onto I, B onto I need to prove that, we need to prove that C onto E. We are going to prove that the image of C is E. For this one to be correct, لازم يكون IE equal KBC, IE equal KBC, or K equals IE over BC. IE is equal to IJ by the same way. IE equal IJ equal A radical 2 over 4. BC is A equal radical 2 over 4. And we have to prove that the measure of the angle BCIE equal pi over 4. BCIE. So IE is the same as BI, has the same sense as BI. So BCIE equal BCBD. BCBD is equal pi over 4. It is in the positive sense. BCBD in the positive sense is pi over 4. Therefore, S of C is equal to E. S of C equals E. Or I can prove it in another method. Now we have given that A onto J B onto I, and I am going to find the image of C. I don't know. I need to prove it is E. Now, ABC is a direct right isosceles triangle. ABC direct right isosceles triangle. Direct right isosceles triangle. So S of ABC equal direct right isosceles triangle will be a direct right isosceles triangle. JIE is a direct isosceles triangle. So the image is JIE. So S of ABC is equal direct right isosceles triangle, which is JIE. JIE. So you have two methods. The method that you like, you can use it. And determine S of D. S of D. Okay, command S of D, we can take it with one of the points here. Or we have proved that we have A, B, C, D is a direct square. Then S of A, B, C, D will be a direct square. So A طلعت عنا J, J, I, E, F. So the image of D will be F. So here we write ABCD is a direct square. We have A onto J, B onto I, D onto C onto E, D onto I don't know. Now ABCD is a direct square, so S of ABCD is a direct square. J, I, E. Okay, it is sure it is F. J, I, E, F. So therefore S of D is equal to F. Therefore S of D equals F. Now we are going to determine S of I. S of I can be determined. I is the center of ABCD. Then S of I will be the center of I, E, F, J. Or I is the midpoint of AC. Then S of I will be the midpoint of S of AC. S of AC is JE, is the midpoint of JE. One of the two methods you can use. So we can use I is the midpoint of AC, and similitude preserves midpoint. So S of I is the midpoint of S of AC. S of I is the midpoint of S of AC. Therefore S of I, A هي J, والimage of A is J, the image of C is E, so S of I is the midpoint of J. Or by another method, I is the center of ABCD, then S of I equal I prime is the center of S of ABCD, which is JIEF. JIEF. Still we have one point, which is calculate S of J. How to calculate S of J? J is the midpoint of AI. So S of J will be the midpoint of S of AI. S of A is J, and S of I هي لقينا إنه ال S of I هي I prime. This is I prime. So S of A is J. So S of J is the midpoint of JI prime. This is I prime. S of J would be the midpoint of JI prime. So here J is the midpoint of AI, then S of J equal J prime is the midpoint of S of AI. So if S of J is the midpoint of JI prime, midpoint of JI prime, similitude conserves midpoint. Part 3. Part A. Specify the nature of S round S. Specify the nature of S round S. And calculate its ratio and the measure of its angle. S round S is a composite of two similitudes of the same center. Then S round S is a similitude of center omega, ratio K times K prime, and angle alpha plus alpha prime. So 3 part A. S round S is a composite of two similitudes of same center. So S round S is a composite of two similitudes of the same center. So S round S is a similitude. Ratio K times K, radical 2 over 4 times radical 2 over 4 equals 1 over 8. And angle alpha is equal pi over 2. Alpha plus alpha, pi over 4 plus pi over 4 equal pi over 2. Part B. Part B. Determine S round S of A and S round S of B. Then construct the point omega, the center of S. S round S of A. Part B. S round S of A equal S into S of A. S of A, it is given J. S of J equals J prime. So S round S of A equal S into S of A. S of A is given J. S of J is determined J prime. S round S of B. S round S of B equals S into S of B. S of B equal I and S of I equal I prime. Now we are going to construct the center. Construct geometrically. How to construct geometrically the center of the similitude. So we have proved that S round, since S and the center omega, then S round S will have the same center omega. So S round S of A equal J prime. It means that omega A, omega J prime equal pi over 2. Means omega belongs to a circle C of diameter AJ prime. Of diameter AJ prime. S round S of B equal I prime means omega B, omega I prime equal pi over 2 means omega belongs to the circle C prime. Omega belongs to a circle C prime of diameter BI prime. Then omega is the point of intersection of these two circles. Omega is the point of intersection of these two circles. The last part, the plane is referred to a direct orthonormal system, part 4. The plane is referred to a direct orthonormal system. A, B, A, D. So we have a system. In AB is 1 unit and AD is 1 unit. ABAD. Determine the complex form of S, then deduce the coordinates of the point omega. You know that the complex form of a translation, all the translation has the form Z prime equal AZ, Z prime equal AZ plus B. Now to find A equal KEI alpha. A equal KEI alpha. K is radical 2 over 4, EI pi over 4. I change from exponential to trigonometric. See, radical 2 over 4 into cosine pi over 4 plus I sine pi over 4. Cosine 45 is radical 2 over 2 plus I radical 2 over 2. Expand. Whenever we expand, we get radical 2 over 2 times, we get 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4i. Z prime equal 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4iz plus b. Now to calculate b, we can use one of the images. For example, I can use A onto J, A onto J, or B onto I. B onto I, it is يمكن the coordinates of B is 1, 0. Coordinates of I is half, half. Or you can use A onto J or E onto C. And but it is easier either A onto J. J هي 1 over 4, 1 over 4. Any one of these two of these points. So here S of B equal I. But S of B equal I. يعني ZI هيدا Z prime يعني S of B equal I يعني this is Z prime وهيدي Z. ZI equal 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 I ZB plus B. Then half plus half I equal 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 ZB. مثل ما قلنا ال I هي half half لأنه ال midpoint I half half. So half plus half I equal 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4I plus B. So 1 half plus half I minus 1 over 4 minus 1 over 4I equal B. So B equal 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4I. So Z prime equals 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4I Z plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4I. Now determine the affix of the point omega. As you know, Z omega equal B over 1 minus A. B is 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 I. 1 minus 1 over 4 minus 1 over 4 I. So 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 I. 3 over 4 minus 1 over 4 I. We can remove 4. So 1 plus I over 3 minus I by using the calculator or by multiplying by the conjugate times the 3 plus I over 3 plus I. Expand 3 plus I plus 3I plus I squared, which is minus 1 over A squared plus B squared. Yani 9 plus 1, not 9 minus 1, 9 plus 1. We get 2 over 10 plus 4 over 10I equals 1 over 5 plus 2 over 5i. So z omega equals 1 over 5 plus 2 over 5. And deduce the coordinates, not the fx. This is a y. We have to determine the coordinates. If you don't write this step, you will lose 1/4. So pay attention. If you need the fx, this is the fx. If you need the coordinates, these are the coordinates of the point omega. This is all for this exercise. Okay, write this exercise on your copybook, and if you have questions, you can ask on Monday.